Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Relentless Positivity Fitness Podcast. And today's episode is a special one, one for me anyway. So it's one that really just comes from my heart. You know, last week would have been my brother Tony's 50th birthday. Man, it's hard to believe. But, at some point in our lives, we all experience loss. Someone we love who shaped us, they're no longer here. And the truth is, we never stop missing them. I mean, those moments that are big and small where we wish we could just hear their voice or tell them a story that they used to always tell, or share an old memory, get their advice, or just share just one more laugh. Grief is complicated, man. It's like I heard Jamie Anderson say one time that grief is love that no longer has a place to go. That's a pretty good description, I would think. But today I want to talk about something that's pretty powerful, I think, is how we honor the people we've lost by the way we live our lives. How we carry their spirit forward. And it's not just in memory, but in action as well. Since losing my brother, I've heard from so many people who've lost siblings and loved ones that I had no idea that they'd lost. Man, it's just like joining the world's worst club. It's terrible, and everyone deals with it in their own way. But for me, I choose to honor his memory and how I live my life going forward. I've been far from perfect, but I'm doing my best. His death is really just it's giving me strength. And I heard this great quote that I like from Albert Camus that says, "In the middle of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer." That invincible summer, I look at the strength our loved ones leave behind in us. It's the lessons they've taught us, the way they made us feel, the parts of them that still live on within us as we go forward. So how do we carry them forward? I came up with a few little ways we could do that. And number one is live in a way that honors them. Think about the values they held. Were they kind to others? Did they love helping people? Did they have an adventurous spirit? Whatever that might be, one of the best ways we can keep their legacy alive is to embody those same qualities. They were selfless, be generous. They found joy in small moments, learned to slow down, appreciate life. They lifted others up. You do the same. And we don't have to be them, but we can carry a part of them and how we show up in the world. He's my older brother. So you always have the little brother syndrome. Little brothers, they know what I'm talking about. And younger siblings, they get it. I thought he didn't care one thing about me playing football. But we got the opportunity to play high school football until I'm on TV, and he got together with all his friends to watch me play, and he's telling me all about it, and I thought it was the coolest thing. It made me feel proud. Later on in life, he shared things I did on social media and told me he was proud of me after I wrote my first book. So I live my life like he's still watching and sharing with others what I'm doing. The second one, we can speak their name and tell their story. That's one of my favorite ways. One of the hardest things about losing someone is feeling like they're kind of slipping away, but they don't disappear as long as we talk about it and keep their memories alive. Tell their stories, share their wisdom, remind people their laughter, their quirks, their kindness. When we speak their name, we remind the world and ourselves that they matter. And that's how we keep them alive and living on. I got together with my other brother, Bob, Tony's wife, Weezy, his twins, Jake and Trey, and some of Tony's friends. We just kept his memories alive over lunch. It was like medicine. I just felt like I really needed that. It felt great just keeping his memory alive and telling his stories. It's important. Keep telling those stories. Number three, and let their love make you feel stronger. And there are days with grief, man, it just knocks the wind out of you. And we feel like we're carrying the weight we just can't put down. I want you to remember this. They wouldn't want you to stay stuck in sadness. They wouldn't want you to stop living because they're gone. They would want you to love harder, chase your dreams, make the most of this life. When you feel that ache, use it. Use it as fuel to live a life that would have made them proud. I was in the middle of my first role as a TV actor when he passed away. And I use that as fuel to kind of lock in and get better at what I was doing. When I was scared to do my first stand-up comedy gig, I thought back over the hours and hours we used to watch stand-up comedy together growing up. Shout out to Half Hour Comedy Hour on MTV back in the day. Man, Tony would have been so excited. So I just went out and I did it. I went for it. So I did that. Any kind of opportunity that felt like it was too big in the past, especially speaking engagements, they don't bother me. I've even preached 2 sermons in a church. Who would have thought? Because I've already done some of the hardest things in my life. I know I can do anything now. I held my brother's hand until he quit breathing after they pulled the plug. I was hugging my mom and walking out of the hospital room with her after Tony passed away. She didn't want to leave him in there all by himself. Doing the eulogy at his funeral. Man, those are some of the hardest things I've done in my life. And now I'm going to be afraid to go talk somewhere? No way, man. No way. Nothing could be harder than that. Fear doesn't make decisions for me now. Don't get me wrong. I still get scared to do things, but it doesn't stop me. I'm going to try new things. I'm going to take the time to experience things I would have avoided in the past. I do it because he can't. I promise you, I'm going to accomplish some things that people never thought possible. stay tuned. And I'm not trying to brag. I just hope it doesn't come off that way. I'm obsessed with putting good back into the world. And a lot of that strength is just keep pushing. Comes from Tony, from his memory. That's how I'm going to keep pushing forward. Now, the fourth one, allow yourself to feel it. Honoring their memory doesn't mean you have to be strong all the time. Some days will just be heavy. Some days you'll cry, and that's all right. Now, grief doesn't have a timeline. I wish it did. You're like, hey, I just get to this day and I'll be fine. It's not like that. And healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to carry the love differently. Thinking about preparing for this episode right now, it's been tough, man. Just thinking about all the memories and all the things we've been through. Tough to type things when the screen's getting a little blurry. You know what I'm talking about? And just looking through some pictures and remembering that it's painful. But I just try to understand that even though they're not physically here, his impact on my life is still unfolding. I think that's a beautiful thing. I was just planning this year's Easy Tea Week, and I looked at the calendar and I realized the same day I had a meeting at church on a missions team that I'm on. And Easy Tea Week is all about helping others and giving back in the world. And it just seemed like a little God wink, where I'm trying to put good back into the world. The missions team goal is exactly that. That hit me kind of hard, man. I wasn't ready for that. So speaking of that, number 5, create something beautiful in their honor. And maybe it's a tradition you carry on, a lesson you pass on, a cause you support, a simple way you can make somebody's day better because they taught you how. It doesn't have to be this huge thing, and it can be as simple as being kind to somebody, more patient, or taking the time to truly be present with the people who matter in your life. And that's why I created Easy Tea Week. It starts every year on his birthday on February 11th. It goes to February 18th. And the goal is to get as many people as possible to do an act of kindness in his name. Big or small, it doesn't matter. Just something kind, and think of old tea. If you want to participate, you can go to easyteaweek.com. No matter what time of year you're hearing this, you can come in, join us in. It's February 11th to 18th every year, but if you want to be kind to somebody, do it anytime you're hearing this. And if you're listening to this and you're missing somebody, I want you to know you're not alone. And their love still lives on in you. And the best way to honor them, keep going, keep living, keep loving, because they wouldn't want it any other way. Take a deep breath, carry their light forward, and know they're still with you in every step, every choice, every moment. And I appreciate you being here. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a message or share a memory of someone you're carrying forward. Let's keep their stories alive. Please share this episode with somebody that might need to hear it. I love you, bro. I'll see you when tomorrow comes for me too. See y'all next week.